Hey Gypsy team. Today we will talk about the 5 major threats to online poker. Probably the most famous meme in the poker community claims, "Poker has only 2 years left." People remember it whenever something out of the ordinary happens in the industry. But this meme is actually much older than 2 years, and poker is still going strong. So, there's no need to be overly scared. Our top list today is more about what harms online poker, but is unlikely to kill it. If someone at the table knows your cards, you cannot win. Thankfully, there are only 2 or 3 loud cases of this happening, but each one has seriously shaken the trust in online poker overall. The most infamous incident involving superusers was the legendary pot ripper at Absolute Poker in the distant year of 2007. He won a tournament with an entry fee of $1,000, participating in nearly every hand and making no mistakes at all. In the last hand, he brazenly called a push on the turn, when his combination was just a 10 high card. He had no draws or matching cards to back him up, but the opponent didn't have a 10 either. He had a 9 high, and Pot Ripper won the tournament. There was a huge scandal. Thanks to the efforts of other players, the scammer was discovered. A year later, in 2008, a super user appeared in the Ultimate Bet Room, which was owned by the same company as Absolute Poker. His name was Neo. He was cleaning everyone out in cash games. In just 64 hours, this wild swindler made over $600,000, averaging around $10,000 an hour. Not bad at all. His colleagues were found too. Several accounts were identified as fraudulent. It's not hard to guess that the entire network of crooks was managed by the owners of Ultimate Bet, led by Russ Hamilton, who disgraced his name despite the fact that he held the title of World Poker Champion back in 1994. The investigation found that the con artists had taken approximately $22 million from the players. Fortunately, a significant portion of this amount was managed to be returned to the victims. For nearly 15 years, there have been no scandals involving super users in the major poker rooms, but the most recent one happened just last December, in 2023. Andrei Streltsov, a well-known player also called Tyler on the Gypsy Team forum, discovered the scammers in the GG Poker Network. A player with the self-ironic nickname Money Taker found a vulnerability in the software and could see his opponent's cards. He not only had astonishing win rates in cash games, but also won a huge tournament with a buy-in of $1,500. The GG network deserves credit. The security service quickly recognized the mistake and fixed the software loophole that the scammer used. We can only hope that the next similar incident will take another 15 years to occur. In poker, every person must play independently, so using programs that show the optimal solution during the game is, of course, the same fraud and a significant threat. One can blame technological progress here, as solver calculations that took several days 10 years ago are now completed in just a few seconds. In the year 2020, an individual named Fedor Cruz unexpectedly reached unprecedented heights. He played perfectly while setting up a second computer next to him and quickly learning to peek at the correct solutions. His neighbors, alongside whom he rented the house, betrayed him. The scandal was wild. Fedor had a YouTube channel with 400,000 subscribers where he documented his rise and preached about playing correct, computer-perfect poker. Eventually, others also gave in to temptation. High rollers Zhuang Ruan won millions offline and then created an entire team of scammers that provided illegal software online. Jake Schindler and Ali Imsirovich had successful offline poker careers, but online they could not resist the temptation and also used banned real-time assistance by observing the right answers displayed on a nearby computer screen during the deal. Interestingly, another professional poker player, Chris Brewer, mentioned that Ali Imsirovich cheated against him, even when they were just playing chess online for fun. Imsirovich seems to have a natural tendency to cheat, regardless of whether he plays for money or for free. He cannot overcome his instinct to cheat. It appears to be pathological behavior. Fortunately, optimal solver play in poker doesn't guarantee high win rates, and poker rooms are getting better at catching solver cheats. In general, The use of RTA is an unpleasant thing, but it is not deadly. They only pose a real threat to those who play for high stakes. In large tournaments at average stakes, you shouldn't worry about players using RTA. They are annoying, but not life-threatening. In the poker industry, the grim reality is that the rooms often impede their own development by putting up barriers. In the early 2000s, PokerStars and Full Tilt Poker were the two leading forces in the poker world. Both rooms experienced colossal traffic in tournaments and an enormous amount of cash games at all limits. They attracted regulars and rewarded them for playing actively.
We play at fulltiltpoker.com.
I'm in.
PokerStars made a special effort, where they distributed bonus points so generously that you could even buy a Porsche in the online store. Then, there was Black Friday, and both rooms lost all American players. However, the real tragedy was not this, but the fact that Full Tilt was unable to settle accounts with players who began to withdraw their money in large numbers. It turned out that the room did not keep player deposits in a separate account, but spent them on its own needs. Ray Bitar and Howard Lederer, Chris Ferguson and other Full Tilt leaders became outcasts from respected figures in the poker community overnight. They were culpable for stealing from their own colleagues. This gang avoided criminal responsibility primarily because PokerStars bought Full Tilt along with all its debts. The creators of PokerStars, the Scheinberg father and son, unfortunately did not enjoy their fame as online poker saviors for long, as they were also tired of the threats from US law enforcement. In 2014, they sold the room to Omaya, an unknown company that began to ruin PokerStars. Unfortunately, neither the level of expertise nor the level of immersion in poker that was characteristic of the Scheinbergs was present in the leadership of Amaya. The new managers realized that the room was paying too much to regular players and decided to save money by reducing these payouts. At first, the maximum rakeback was 30%, but it subsequently kept falling lower and lower. Consequently, in 2021, Stars lost its long-held leadership position for the first time in years, with the GG network emerging as the new industry leader. It seems that PokerStars, once the clear leader, is now having trouble getting back to the top. A similar story happened with Party Poker about 15 to 20 years ago.
Play for free at the world's largest poker school, partypoker.net. Everyone's playing.
In the 2000s, it was the top room, and in the 2010s, it was a major player in the legal market. But then, the fact that the management and main owners were not focused on the poker business ultimately led Party Poker into a dead end. And now, these same owners are once again looking for new buyers for their unsuccessful side business. A similar story is also happening with the Room 888. It belongs to a large casino, for which poker is nothing more than a burden. Overall, it can be said that no major room has emerged victorious in the war against the regulars. Yet, this war, characterized by the absence of winners and the presence of only losers, continues to flare up occasionally. But we all hold on to the hope that one day a room will emerge, led by new Scheinbergs, and it will truly become the leader in the industry. It was precisely 13 years ago, on the 15th of April in the year 2011, that the notorious Black Friday took place. That day, American players were cut off from the rest of the world, leading to a nearly 50% drop in traffic for all poker rooms. The legalization of online poker in the US has been progressing slowly since then, with play allowed only in a few states and many player pools remaining isolated. This implies that it is common for a player from Nevada to find themselves only able to play against their next-door neighbor. In California and New York, where the most players were active, online poker is still prohibited. European regulators have really disrupted the online poker player pool. Poker rooms must now get local licenses. For instance, only Germans can play on German stars. Actually, they can hardly play due to high taxes from a few years ago. Not long ago, Germany was among the top European poker nations, but now poker is practically non-existent there. No Spaniards, Portuguese, or French players at the tables for over a decade. The astonishing greed of state tax authorities results in suffering for all parties involved, including both players and poker rooms, and the governments themselves, which fail to collect the necessary tax revenues. As a publicly traded company, Party Poker had no choice but to exit all gray markets, and at the start of 2022, prior to the onset of the war, Russian players were also denied access to the room. Party Poker has not made it into the top 10 poker rooms by traffic since then. As long as governments are so preoccupied with global order issues as they are now, we cannot expect radical changes in gambling regulation. Thus, we must wait for better times, and again, for rationality from all involved parties. The primary threat to online poker is bots, which means you are playing against a computer program instead of a human. This story is old. Cheaters have used bots in poker rooms since the industry began. After solvers were invented, it became easier to teach bots to play well, and they began to win more often. The latest revelation about bots is again connected to Andrei Streltsov, likely the most prominent name in this matter. Currently, he is the top defender of online poker's integrity in the world. At the start of this year, Tyler, whose real name is Andrei Streltsov, posted an investigation on the Gypsy Team forum about a network of bots active in the WPN network. Tyler calculated that only the bots he tracked down had won more than $10 million in various tournaments. A scandal broke out, which we covered in detail on Gypsy Team forum. The network initially denied all claims and absurdly held a contest for creating an elusive bot, saying that if you could outsmart our security, you would win $100,000. Nevertheless, all of this appeared completely absurd, given that almost everyone knew about the bot overpopulation on the WPN tables. Ultimately, most of the scammers identified by Tyler were indeed banned. At one time, GG Poker, another network, paid Tyler for his help, and he opened a free school with that money, where anyone who wishes can now learn how to analyze hand histories and detect accounts that are illegally operated by computers rather than by actual players. Actually, combating bots is not as challenging a task when compared to the other problems we've outlined in our top list. It is possible and necessary to combat them, and the tools needed for this purpose are quite clear and accessible, especially to the security services of the rooms. Statistics always reveal bots, but one needs the willingness to analyze them. And there is valuable experience from poker stars under the Scheinbergs, where they could easily identify bots and quickly remove them, returning money to the affected players. We hope that in the future, other poker rooms will also find success in combating bots. In conclusion, even our rather gloomy ranking makes it clear: online poker faces no existential threats. Every issue can be managed, and those regulars who wish to work on their skills can continue to make money online, even though it is getting harder and harder to achieve this. Thanks for viewing this video. If you're interested in learning more about these and other narratives, feel free to check out Gypsy Team or click the links in the video description.